This episode of Musical Talk was recorded in late August 2013.
This is Musical Talk.
Musical Talk.
The UK's independent musical theatre podcast.
Musical Talk. The UK independent musical theatre podcast.
Hello and welcome to Musical Talk. This episode is powered by Krispy Kremes because Nick and I have just eaten half a dozen of them before recording. My name's Dominic Linedesay-Bethune and I'm joined today by your regular host, Nicholas Hutson. Hey Nick.
Hello, how are you?
I'm fine.
Listeners, I suggest you listen to this on half speed because we're completely high at the moment on sugar.
So, you know what, Krispy Kremes is nothing to do with musicals. They're so tasty. They haven't paid us to say this, by the way. This is just our
paid
opinion.
them.
Yeah.
They're not much to sing and dance about, but
no. But anyway, I wanted to talk to you today, Nick, about what's coming up in the West End that you are excited to see, or I'm excited to see, or perhaps shows that you're not excited to see, but everyone else might be. There are quite a few new musicals coming out in this second half of 2013 and early 2014, and also a few revivals or new productions of shows we haven't seen for a long time. The one I want to start with is one that actually has been highly anticipated for quite years. We didn't know which venue it was going to be in, what shape it was going to take, and in an unlikely turn of events, it's now going to be at the Almeida Theatre, which is in northeast London, or North London. Possibly the poshest theatre in the city is the Almeida.
Is this the one from the Simon Cowell production office, Psycho Productions?
Almost.
The American
The American version, yeah. We are, of course, talking about American Psycho, the musical. Now, Nick, when did you first hear about American Psycho being turned into a musical?
Well, it's always been a bit quiet for me, because Dom's going to shoot me now, because I've never seen the film. I'm now dead.
Yeah, he said. That was the sound of the shot.
With Dom's...
We'll edit it in later, it'll be fine.
I mean, this is up to you, Dom, to tell me about this show, because I always associate it with the Almeida.
The Almeida Theatre,
the Almeida.
yes.
It's got an I in there somewhere, so
yeah.
I don't know much about it. So, Dom, tell me what you know about the American Psycho musical.
I mean, I remember... So, American Psycho is a novel, and that was turned into the film starring Christian Bale, which is an excellent film. The novel is fantastic. And then a few years ago, you and I were discussing American Psycho the musical opening on Broadway. It wasn't opening yet. It was just in talks to be created.
I did think it was meant to be the American side originally.
I think so as well. And then it just petered out, really. I didn't hear much about it. And then the Almeida Theatre is quite a prestigious theatre in sort of Angel area of London.
Not the West End.
Not the West End, but it's one of our big powerhouse subsidised theatres. And it's a lovely, lovely theatre to go to if you get the chance. One of the Attenboroughs, Michael Attenborough, was the artistic director for many, many years. And the artistic director of a different theatre company, Rupert Gould, has taken over. He's become the new artistic director of the Almeida and announced his opening season, which includes American Psycho, the musical. So I was flabbergasted. I had no idea that the Almeida would suddenly choose to commission, firstly, a musical, because they're normally about posh Shakespeare's and Ibsen's and that kind of stuff, and American Psycho, the musical, no less, which is the story of a yuppie in 1980s New York who is a psycho and kills people in inventive ways.
But as a new artistic director, you want to kind of break the mould with things like they did with Jerry Springer the Opera. You said, this is our first project. We're doing what you didn't expect, and people are going to be really interested, as opposed to A Midsummer Night's Dream.
Yes, absolutely. And American Psycho this is the world premiere, is at the Almeida, and I'm pretty sure you didn't hear it from me, but you heard it from Musical Talk first. I'm pretty sure they have a West End venue ready. Because
it's such a viable name, isn't it?
Yeah, they're anticipating it to transfer within a month of closing at the Almeida.
That's dangerous, because shows need time, if they're bad, to be rewritten.
Sure. But then if you think about it, it's playing at the Almeida for a good 12 weeks. So that's enough time to rewrite it. And they're banking on it being a success, as is the theatre that's going to receive it. And this is all under the radar stuff.
This is strictly between us And 12,000 listeners.
Yeah. Eventually 12,000 listeners within a day. And so I think it's playing from early December until the end of January. So
a family treat.
Yeah, a family treat for Christmas. It's almost sold out. The entire run is almost sold out because it's so highly anticipated. And the reason I want to see it, and I think this is possibly the big pull, is because I don't know how they can do it.
Because Ben Affleck's going to be the lead.
No, let's not talk about Nick probably knows my opinions on that.
That's old news.
That's old news, yeah, absolutely.
He might be dead by the time this episode goes out.
Just because everyone tweeted about it. The idea of American Psycho, this horrific and funny novel, terrifying and funny film, turned into a clever and funny musical. It could be the new Sweeney Todd. It could be that for our generation.
This sounds like it's such a story that belongs on stage. When you watched the film or read the book, did you ever imagine it being on stage?
No, I can't picture it on stage as a play or as a musical. So that's why. But I really love the film and really enjoyed the book. So that's why I'm keen to see it.
Do we know the creative team, the director and
creative team?
Or was it Rupert Gould?
I think it's Rupert Gould because it's not just an Almeida production. It's an Almeida and Headlong co-production and
87 other producers.
And for Act 4. So there's 3 production companies coming together. I've never heard of Act 4 before, but Headlong do some pretty creative and interesting shows. One of which was at the National that I remember very vividly was called Earthquakes in London. And then that did a national tour. And it was really creative, and they liked music. They love music in their shows. So
what better way to do a musical?
It makes sense that absolutely, it makes sense that they go, well, now let's do a Headlong musical. But we can't do what everyone expects. American Psycho. That's the perfect solution.
So do you think American Psycho as a musical will add to the story, or do you think it'll make it... Are you worried it might be a bit camp in certain ways, or...
Well, this is where I'm interested to see where it goes. So, as you can see, the book is by, let's get this right, Roberto Aguirre-Sacasa. I apologise if I mispronounce that. And the lyrics are by Duncan Sheik, who we all know is an amazing lyricist. He's got a couple of big shows running around the world. I don't know if we've ever discussed them, but there we go. So it's got a pretty good team. And then, of course, Rupert Gould directing. And Rupert Gould loves his theatricality, big visuals, and music. So I'm really excited about this because I think, as well as it being an adaptation of a novel and a film, I think it's going to bring a whole new audience both to the Almeida and to musical theatre. Because I have friends who don't enjoy musicals that have booked tickets because they've seen the film and they can't imagine it as a musical, so they have to go see it. And if it delivers, it'll be, I think, one of the biggest shows of not just the end of 2013, but throughout 2014 as well.
Duncan Sheik has done the music and lyrics for this show. His previous successful-ish
award-winning show, I think, is fair to say, is Spring Awakening, because although it closed in London, it won many awards on Broadway, and it had so much critical response in this country. Praising it, absolutely.
I thought the music was a bit boring in Spring Awakening, to be honest with you.
Really?
I started thinking, if I hear one more guitar arpeggio, I might kill myself.
Well, I think that's probably why it failed in such a big space in the West End, because Americans love that music because it's American, whereas that's not our go-to default style. So there you go. But I think it's a British team behind this, opening in England, about a period of time in America, 1980s America.
Why isn't the show opening in America where it sort of belongs?
Well, I don't know, but perhaps, and this is all conjecture because this is just me trying to assess it, completely independent of talking to anyone involved.
Don's revving up his soapbox.
Maybe it's just too expensive to do a new musical in America without it being in a smaller venue. The Almeida, they've got a co-production going on, so it spreads the cost out. So it's less of a financial risk to try a new musical on a show that, okay, now we see that it's selling out at the Almeida. It's not the West End venue, not a West End run, but it's selling out at the Almeida. That's one thing, but to try and sell thousands upon thousands of seats year in, year out is very, very difficult. So here's a safer way to make sure you have an audience for it.
Would you be annoyed
that it shouldn't transfer?
Would you be annoyed if it didn't transfer in London and went straight to Broadway?
Would I be annoyed? Well, not really, because I would have seen it at the Alameda, so I'd be fine.
Do you have tickets booked?
I do. I've got tickets booked. I've actually got tickets booked with a couple of different groups of people because they all called me and said, "Do you want to go see this?
I really
do you
hope you like this show, Don.
Yeah. Otherwise, I'm going to be having a nice.
If you have to see it 27 times and you want to kill yourself after the first 3 minutes,
which would be ironic because it's American Psycho. There's going to be a lot of death, so I'm hoping.
But you've got to be, if you're very passionate about this book and this film. They might ruin it.
They could ruin it as well. Now, which brings us on to one which we could talk about briefly. We've discussed it on Musical Talk before. But one of my favourite shows this year, which I didn't go because I loved the film so much. I was very hesitant to go. And then I'm so glad I did because it was brilliant, is Once. Now, Once, as we know, it opened on Broadway, won many awards on Broadway, and is transferred. Well, it's still running on Broadway, isn't it? And it's transferred over here. We've got a production over here. And I saw it this year.
Well, the same theatre company in New York that did Spring Awakening.
Well, there you go. And I don't think it is the same theatre company because Atlantic Theatre Company did Spring Awakening and they're not involved in Once.
Oh, okay.
Maybe it's similar producers at the same theatre.
I think, anyway, fans of Smash will know that there is a theatre where, in the second series, they're using it to do a new musical and there is Once posters on the wall. Maybe I'm getting it wrong.
But...
regardless, I probably am getting it wrong.
Yeah, but I just thought it was brilliant, and one of the reasons I really enjoyed it in a way was it wasn't a glamorous, ostentatious musical. It wasn't like a Bob Fosse musical with big. It was like almost a play with.
Well, it is a play with songs.
A play with really good songs. But the songs drive the narrative forward and tell you about the characters, and ergo, I think you'd say it's a musical. If the songs were independent of it. Then it wouldn't be a musical.
I think they were slightly independent because a lot of the songs, bear in mind, I did have 8 hours worth of jet lag when I saw this
Always
show.
a good time to see a show for the first time.
A lot of the songs were, I wrote this ballad last night, I'm going to sing it to you.
Yes.
And I couldn't understand a lot of... The guy's Irish accent was so strong, I couldn't understand a lot of what he was saying. Because it's very hypnotic, isn't it? I mean, it's very relaxing, the show, which... Again, with the jet lag.
Yeah, and it's a good thing with the jet lag, or maybe not. But also what I loved about Once was it's not... For a romantic musical, firstly, it is still in line to the film, and I love the film. The film is a very powerful, moving piece of cinema. So I was concerned that they were going to ruin it. Like, it should be a musical. It'll be all glammed up and it won't make sense.
Like American Psycho might be.
Like American Psycho might be. But however, American Psycho, because it's based in the yuppie era, and if you read the book and you see the film, he's always talking about music of the era. He's always dissecting Whitney Houston's lyrics, Phil Collins' albums, Huey Lewis and the News, he discusses it.
That's a bit like High Fidelity in a way.
In a way, but in an American Psycho kind of way.
Hopefully that musical will last longer than one day, which High Fidelity lasted on Broadway, but that's another story entirely.
So anyway, but Once is opening. In terms of musicals that I'm excited to see in running, American Psycho is definitely there. I think that'll be a really interesting show to see. And anyone who hasn't seen Once, I'd really recommend them. If they want to see a great piece of theatre that you actually can be moved by and think about, then Once is a really good musical to go and enjoy. But Nick, do you have any musicals that you are excited by that are coming out in the winter of 2013 in the West End or next year?
Listeners,
or ones that you aren't excited about, but...
Listeners of the podcast know what I like. Mm-hmm. And I am excited... Speaking of Psycho and Simon Cowell's production company, I'm excited for I Can't Sing, the musical.
Which is effectively X Factor, the musical. Yeah. So what excites you about that, Nick?
What excites me about it is that it's got, for the book writer, it's got one of Britain's greatest satiric writers, as in Harry Hill, behind it. It's got Simon Cowell behind it, so he's obviously reached a point in his career where he is able to make fun of himself. So if he stays away from the creative process and just writes the checks, I think it could be a very funny piece of satire, because X Factor is essentially a satire of Britain anyway, I think. And the third factor to this...
pun intended there,
absolutely.
Audience.
The third factor is musical lyrics by Steve Brown. Now, Steve Brown is one of the country's greatest satire songwriters.
Right.
famous for doing a musical called Spend, 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 which was a musical about a woman who won loads of money in the pools, and as the title suggests, spent a lot of it and lost it all. A very, very good sung through musical. But he's also famous for doing songs for Spitting Image from the 80s, and so I think with that team, it's a great new musical, and people moan and say, "Oh, it's based on the X Factor, not interested." Well,
but it's original music. It's not going to be a jukebox musical, is it?
No,
it's original music, and I think that's
it's about a woman who ends up in the queue for X Factor whilst taking her dog to the vet because it can talk or something hilarious like that, and you just know it's going to be completely ridiculous, and it's perfect for the Palladium, the home of family entertainment.
Yeah, and big audiences can fill the Palladium, and I think what you've hit the nail on the head there in that they go, what is this show? It's a satire. Right, let's find the best at that. They're not trying to be more than the ingredients of the show. It's going to be a satire about it. And I was having a really interesting conversation with a friend of mine earlier this week about why shows about auditioning, such as the Chorus Line, that's playing or will have closed by the time this episode goes to air.
We have to say we're recording this in late August.
Yes, yeah. And so the Chorus Line is still playing at the Palladium. In fact,
closes on Friday.
I think
I'm going on Wednesday.
Oh, okay. But one of the reasons that we came to as to why it's closing early, or I mean, it's
flopped. It's a term we're looking for.
Because everyone says the dancing is great, but because of Britain's Got Talent, because of X Factor, because of Pop Idol back in the day, the mystery of an audition process no longer exists.
Okay, so you're saying...
We all know what it is, so to watch these two hours worth, no interval of them auditioning, you're like, okay, but it's not really anything innovative there, because there's no more mystery, whereas if you watch the Michael Douglas film...
which no one should ever do.
Well, 20 years ago, whenever it came out, at the time it was still, is that what they do? And the gravity of someone breaking their leg was a big reveal, So I think what's brilliant about the X Factor musical...
It's taking over a chorus line.
It's taking over a chorus line, ironically, taking over a chorus
line. With Dame
Edna
in between.
Yeah. One thing which I love about it as well is the idea that Simon Cowell is behind it. So what he's got X Factor. So fans of X Factor are going to tune in and watch it. People who aren't fans of X Factor are going to go see the musical that makes fun of the TV show that fans of that are going to... So he's actually getting back... This is, it hasn't been proven yet, the show hasn't opened, but in doing this, he's getting back an audience that, for whatever reason, is against X Factor.
I mean, it's kind of X Factor and Britain's Got Talent that he's making fun of.
Yeah, it's the format show, isn't it?
And
you're format TV.
What I love is you're watching this musical in a theatre where Britain's Got Talent has been filmed.
Yes,
so absolutely. It's kind of this weird
life imitating art, art imitating life. Yeah, that could be a really interesting musical to be like you said, a completely original musical. It's not a jukebox.
They could have so done just another pop compilation show.
Absolutely.
It opens actually in February 2014.
Oh, there you go.
So they are missing that kind of slow period, which is clever.
Which is clever, absolutely. That's why I thought it'd be dangerous to open around Christmas time. But not long to wait then. Not long to wait at all. February 2014, and we'll have a new musical. Around that time, I think you might find that one of the musicals I'm looking forward to coming back to London opens.
Because it's been and gone now, and we all breathe a sigh. And we miss it, don't we, Dom?
Yeah, we do.
Am I going down the right path here?
What do you want to... What show do you think?
Do we miss Saigon?
Yes, we miss Saigon, very much so. No, I'm a huge fan of Miss Saigon, as Nicola attests. It's one of my favourite musicals, and I'm delighted to say that it's one of those few times that I would pay
£20.
£22.50. No, I'd pay
plus booking
for £42.50. I'd pay for a top price seat to see Miss Saigon because what excites me about it as well is I've always liked Miss Saigon. I think it's a great show and a great story. as you could tell from Madame Butterfly and other versions of a similar story. But what excites me about it is, in recent years, as Nick discussed in previous episodes, we had that amazing touring Les Mis come to the Barbican with 3D projection and all...
Not 3D.
Sorry, not 3D, but projection and it reinvented
and the same
the staging, well. And the same with Phantom. I'm not sure if anyone got to see the video as well of the Phantom at the Royal Albert Hall, the 25th anniversary celebrations. That was amazing. So what you've got here is one of Cameron Mackintosh's favourite musicals, and he's putting together the team to rejig it like he did with those new versions of the classic, of Phantom and of Les Mis. So I think when you get there, you're not going to see the same Les Mis you saw
in the 90s.
Because
it's in a smaller theatre.
It's in a smaller theatre. But they will give you something else that is going to be modern with the same heartfelt story.
Not that the Prince Edward is a small theatre.
No. But it's not Drury Lane, which is where I think it played before, and that's why you can have the helicopter and everything. But
I'm just worried this show will rely entirely on projections like the touring production has, and I would be very disappointed.
As in the helicopters of projection.
If he's just bringing in a touring show in preparation for the inevitable movie of Miss Saigon. I'm worried that he's just doing a kind of... He needs to fill a theatre. I wonder if his heart's in this.
No. I think it's in it entirely because he's wanted to bring Miss Saigon back for years. Quite publicly, wanted to bring it back for years. And he was waiting for the right venue to become available. Now, the venue that it's in, the theatre that it's in, had Jersey Boys playing for...
Too long.
For, how many years?
6 years.
Or so. And I think that's the one he had his eyes on. He was like, the show I'm imagining is perfect for that space. The location of it, geographically within the West End, the seat capacity, the size of the stage, I think that's what he's waiting for. But Jersey Boys would just keep... Their bookings always good. It's a great show in the West End, so they didn't need to move. I think his heart is absolutely in this because it's going to reach an entirely new generation. I saw Miss Saigon in London because my parents took me when I was young, but our generation wouldn't have seen Miss Saigon in London.
Well, it's an important show for you, isn't it? Because of Lea Salonga and the whole Filipino...
Absolutely, and the Philippines. That also excites me, and I've heard that they are auditioning in the Philippines again to find because Filipino singers are amazing. I'm sure if anyone YouTubes Filipino singer, you'll see some amazing singers, especially for musical theatre. So if they find new Filipino actors and performers to be in this production, I'd be over the moon. But regardless, I'm really looking forward to this show, and I think it's going to be Cameron Mackintosh at his best. That's what I think it'll be. We'll have to wait and find out though until next year.
I'm looking forward to it because I've never seen it. I never had huge interest in seeing it because at the time it was playing, I only went to theatre with my parents, and if they weren't interested in seeing it,
you wouldn't go. Yeah, absolutely.
Go. But now, it be opening, I will go and see it because I like the songs. We've depending on when this episode goes out, we have heard from Bubel and Schoenberg, or you will hear from Bubel and Schoenberg soon, and they say there's a new song appearing in this musical, and they're obviously looking at it and editing it.
Absolutely, that's what excites me. It's a new creative team. That's why I don't think what you're saying. You're concerned that it might be a touring show that's slotted into a venue that needs one. I think that it's the opposite. I think there's too many creative people involved. That clearly money's being spent for their time, their attention, and their abilities to make it a West End powerhouse of a show. But we shall see how long it runs. I hope it runs and runs and runs because I love Miss Saigon. It's one of those shows which I'd probably see, more than once a year if I could. I know, how daring of me.
More than once.
More than once. The number.
Yeah, and
the musical. Although I do love Once the Musical, I'd probably see that again this year. So yeah, those are two of my picks for very exciting shows that I'm looking forward to. And you've obviously got I Can't Sing, the X Factor musical that you're looking forward to.
Sums me up.
Yeah, in a nutshell.
I don't think anyone should listen to it, but I want to talk about the Stephen Ward musical, which is Andrew Lloyd Webber's new chamber piece coming out at the Aldwych Theatre. The Aldwych Theatre's never... Dirty Dancing played there for 1,000 years, and Top Hat has been there recently. It's sort of off everyone's radar, isn't it, as a sort of theatre, or would you just... Do we know who owns it? Is it Andrew's group?
No, the Aldwych... maybe it's a really useful group, but I think it might be NIMAX. I wouldn't say it's... I don't think so. I think sometimes the Aldwych gets lost because the Strand is away from the centre of Leicester Square, so it can get lost. However, if the show is good, people will go to the Strand. Yeah. Similarly, they'll go to the South Bank. You know, those two roads run parallel to each other across the river. So I don't think it's a bad venue to do a musical in.
So Stephen Ward is the Profumo Scandal musical.
Yes.
The moment of recording, it's very hard to find anything out about it. They've been quite secret about it. The fact that it's called Stephen Ward is quite an interesting title for a musical. Angela Lloyd-Webber has done the music, book and lyrics by Christopher Hampton and Don Black. But the reason I wanted to say it is you mentioned Richard Eyre, who's directing it, and the wonderful Tony Award-winning Rob Howell of Ghosts and Matilda and everything else is doing the set. So I'm drawn to that aspect.
Yeah.
And Stephen Mear is choreographing. So these are the people at the very top of their game. We're talking, the creme de la creme of British theatre creatives. The music I've heard is absolute bollocks.
That's to translate that for our American listeners. The music,
balls.
Is not that good. So why do you say that? As in, have you heard it? Leaked things, or from other sources?
There's a trailer, and I get the impression, as do many others, that this is just a trunk thing for Lloyd Webber. He's just gone to old tunes he's written, and he's handed it over to Don Black and just said, do lyrics to this. There's no thought about music matching the lyrics.
But that's purely from the trailer, so he could surprise us once the show opens and you go, oh, wow, it's the new Phantom. It's going to be amazing.
The song, let's say about every Lloyd Webber music, but you choose the songs to put in your trailer to sell the show.
Absolutely.
And the trailer does not sell the show to me. I'm sure I'll see it. I'm just not that interested in it. Are you aware of it?
No, I'm aware of it. I think similarly to you, it's a really interesting subject matter, to what you were saying, sorry. It's a really interesting subject matter to turn into a musical.
But this is the second time it's happened, because when Musical Talk was young, we saw Emma Williams in A Model Girl, the musical, which is the Profumo Scandal done.
Told from
her point of view.
Yes, absolutely. But I think perhaps this musical, in a way, and maybe the marketing people would try and hunt me down and get me to not say this, but I think perhaps this musical, in a way, is not aimed at me because it's not in my memory bank, the Scandal. It doesn't affect me. Whereas your 35-year-old or 40-year-old to 55, 60-year-old West End audiences, which is, by the way, what the West End runs on, is that generation's money. That's who the show is targeting. So then perhaps it will do well because it knows what audience it wants, and that audience has money to spend on musicals, and it's going for them. Whereas, like what you and I were saying, we are more interested in
I Can't Sing,
and American Psycho, these musicals that may not interest 65-year-olds, 60-year-olds, 55-year-olds, because it's so superfluous to their everyday life. It doesn't meet what they want from a musical. But to our generation, it does, so we'll spend money to go see it. But we have less money, so it won't make that much. Whereas this is based on a scandal from the 60s that will be relevant to an older generation, and they might be really keen to go see it. I'm interested in seeing Richard Eyre's work.
Is it Eyre or Eyre?
Either one. I've never met him, so hopefully one day when I do, I can ask him how to pronounce it.
What's your name?
Yeah, well, Dominic Linedesay-Bethune, but not everyone says that. Of course, Nick was referring to asking what Richard's name is.
Was it Bethune?
Yeah. But what I find interesting is if Trevor Nunn, for example, does a show, I'm not as keen to go see it anymore as if Jamie Lloyd does a show, or one of the next generation of theatre makers, because...
Or Marianne Elliott.
Yeah, absolutely. Rupert Gould, because it's just it's not a change of the guard, because I think all directors can direct as long as they want. Max Stafford Clark, brilliant director, and will continue to be so for years to come. But I think what excites me...
Jerome Robbins is still directing
It's still somehow still directing Chicago.
It's not Chicago. West Side Story.
West Side Story, yeah.
Sorry.
You cannot change that.
Exactly.
Do not change it.
Bob Fosse is still doing...
Yes, yeah. I think that interests me because a new mind might have an interesting perspective on new ideas. But I'd be interested to see Stephen Ward rather. But it's not. It's definitely on my radar, but it's not at the top of my list of new musicals to see. But again, if any listeners do see it, do let us know your thoughts. Interesting that you should mention West Side Story, because of course West Side Story, as this episode maybe goes to air, is still playing at Sadler's Wells, possibly, and if not, it started its UK national tour. Again. Now it's sold out or selling well at Sadler's Wells, and I'll go see it again when it comes to the new Wimbledon, because West Side Story is a brilliant musical. However, my problem, and it's a problem, my problem with this production at Sadler's Wells is that they're dancers. You might say, of course they're dancers, they have to dance. No, but they're dancers, so this production, the emphasis is on dance. So the leads can sing incredibly well. From the last time I saw this production, by the way, this isn't, maybe they've changed some of the actors, but the leads can sing very well, and the dancers can dance well. Doesn't mean either of those two can act particularly well. And when I saw it, I really enjoyed it because I love West Side Story, so I will always enjoy it. But there were some particularly shaky accents going on that took you out of the action. And you don't want that. You want really good actors and singers, and they can dance. You want triple threats. But instead, we got treated to amazing dancers who could sing and just about act.
But that's because it's Sadler's Wells.
Because it's Sadler's Wells, which is a dance central for London. Yeah. Next to Rambert, I suppose. The two of those dance companies are huge here. Yeah. And the other problem I had with it was the costume design. I don't think gangs would really well pastel colours, vests, because it's not particularly threatening. If West Side Story was in the West End, you'd have a costume designer who would make it palatable for a West End audience.
I don't think you would, because it has to be based on the original production.
Yeah, but last time I saw West Side Story in the West End, they didn't wear pastel-coloured vests, like faded green, some sort of purple if you squint hard enough.
Oh, I see.
And it was just, it didn't look good. It went, well, these clearly are not threatening gangland people at all. No matter how you interpret their beautiful dance moves, they don't look...
Gangman.
Yeah, they don't look threatening at all. So I will go see it, because I love West Side Story, and I think a lot of people, a lot of our listeners should go and enjoy it. But that was something which I really didn't enjoy last time, and I hope this time they've changed it, was the costume design.
Maybe they got dyed in the wash or something.
Yeah, the night that I saw it, they're like, oh, they're all meant to be white. Who left their pink, green, purple sock in here? And it faded. Yes, absolutely. So West Side Story is one that's currently playing as this episode goes to air, and will be touring next year as well. So that'll be exciting. And I think, there are other musicals that we could mention, but that's probably the cream of the crop.
Yes, and 2014 will be a good year, as was 2013 or 2013.
Or 2013,
yes. How you want to say it. Dom, thank you very much for chatting to us today. Lovely to have you back.
Thank you very much, Nick, and hopefully I'll be back soon again.
Yep. All right. Thank you very much, listeners. This has been a production of Musical Talk, copyright 2013. See what I did there. Bye.